Great to see you again, learners. Welcome back to another Global English Competitiveness video. Today we're delving into the third part of this unit, 9C. What's in it for me? Get ready with your pen and paper as we uncover our personal connections to art. To recap, we have 4 can-do objectives in this unit. First, to describe one's reaction to a visual stimulus. Second, to interact informally to show interest. Third, to express opinions to justify one's choice. And fourth, to critique an art form. As you can remember, we have already covered our first 2 can-do objectives. You already described your reaction to visual stimulus. And in the previous lesson, you learned how to interact informally to show interest. Now let's continue with our third can-do objective, to express opinions to justify one's choice. Without further ado, let's move over to our third lesson, Unit 9C. What's in it for me? Here are the different sub-lessons that will help us achieve our objective. Without further ado, let's move over to our third lesson, 9C. What's in it for me? Here are the different sub-lessons that will help us achieve our objective. Reading, vocabulary, grammar, speaking, writing, and pronunciation. Fine arts are luxurious and have the potential to be a good investment. Despite the inherent value of these items, people who struggle to get by usually put this off their list. The reading article reveals the interview data of the 4 people who represent the middle class and poor families. Let's learn their stance on buying artworks. The first interviewee is Martha, 49, a store clerk. Let's read her statement together. I wouldn't acquire an item that is worth more than my annual income. Of course, I thought it is downright ridiculous when a householder like me stretches a tight budget to buy food on the table and secure cover over their head. Look, we are 10 in the family with all the extended members dwelling with us. I usually ignore beauty appreciation when I am overwhelmed with domestic problems. I do entertain myself too. I strum the guitar and hum the melody, but fine arts are the least preferred. Our second interviewee is Sam, 29. Freelancer and vlogger. During my visits in museums, art galleries, and other destinations, it is in arts that we can see how society lives. It is apparent that art connects us to our culture. Watching the arts can make us travel through time and get the opportunity to feel the angst of the subjects in Juan Luna's Polarium, the camaraderie of the community in Fernando Amorsolo's Bayanihan, or Fabian de la Rosa's landscape with Nipahat. Or we can see the beauty of ice sculptures fit for the occasion. Our next interviewee is Carla, 45, a library staff. The school doesn't have an art gallery, but students have access to the City Art Museum right across from our school. The artworks displayed are that of local artists and some artifacts of the city's history. Art appreciation of students could be limited because arts of our national artists are only available in printed forms in books or social media. Lessons in humanities are limited to memorization of the era the artwork was created, who the artist was, and the story behind a piece of art. With a photographed copy, nobody can feel the emotional effects of arts made of oil, acrylic, or watercolor. Our last interviewee is Kiko, 35, a bank teller. I started investing in arts when my colleagues influenced me in my earlier career in banking and finance. 5% of my salary goes straight to art investment. The value of arts appreciates through time. Some investors keep artworks and sell them at a future time, gaining higher yield than they initially bought them. In reference to a report by Stevens of Masterworks.io, between 1985 and 2018, the art market's return has been relatively in line with that of fixed income. Contemporary art has returned an average of 7.5%. For art collectors and art lovers out there, they can make money with their possessions. Now, based on the reading material, match the name and the interview data. For example, in number 1, fine art is considered a luxury. This is according to Martha. Okay, now pause the video and answer items number 2 to 4. Here are the correct answers. Now for our next activity, read the article again and underline the speaker's name to complete the sentences. For example, in number 1, based on the reading material, it was Martha who said that nobody buys artworks more than one's annual salary. Okay. Now pause the video and answer items number 2 to 6. Here are the correct answers. Now moving on to our next activity, indicate whether the sentences are true or false. For example, in number 1, they all express positive opinion on buying art. Now based on the reading material, this is false. Not everyone is positive on buying art. Now pause the video and answer items number 2 to 6. Here are the correct answers. Were you able to answer the activity correctly? Perfect. Now moving on. Assess the interviewee's opinion and write a plus sign if the interviewee has a positive attitude in art and a minus sign if the opinion is negative. For example, in number 1, Martha, based on the reading material, Martha's opinion was quite negative towards art. Now pause the video and answer items number 2 to 4. Here are the correct answers. Now let's check your vocabulary knowledge on art-related terms. Answer the crossword puzzle and complete the following sentences using the given clues. For example, in number 1, assets or objects bought or obtained typically by a library or museum. This refers to acquisition. So the sentence would say, my acquisition of artworks at a lower price is during auctions. Okay, now pause the video and answer the rest of the items. And here are the correct answers. Moving on to our next activity, underline the appropriate words to complete the following sentences. For example, in number 1, I purchase arts despite their cost. The correct word here is purchase because of the word cost. Now pause the video and answer items number 2 to 6. Here are the correct answers. Now for our grammar focus, let's talk about relative clause. A relative clause is a clause that contains a relative pronoun or a relative adverb. The people, places, things, animals, and ideas by which the relative pronoun refers to is called its antecedent. A relative pronoun is one which is used to refer to nouns mentioned previously, whether they are people, places, things, animals, or ideas. A relative adverb, on the other hand, introduces a dependent clause that talks about a place, time, or reason. Here are examples. First, it was Martha who considered fine arts as luxury. In this example, we have the relative pronoun who, which refers back to Martha. Second example, Sam visits the museums when he wants to learn about the society's culture. In this example, we have the relative adverb when. This refers to the time when Sam visits the museums. And for our third example, Kiko suggested that we invest in masterworks.io to grow our wealth. Now, this is a relative pronoun. Okay, the word that refers to the suggestion. To help you in remembering these relative pronouns and relative adverbs, pay attention to the chart. Now for our activity, match the following relative pronouns with its appropriate antecedent. For example, in number 1, the relative pronoun who is used when we talk about a person and when that person takes the role of a subject. So the answer is letter C. Now pause the video and answer the rest of the items. Here are the correct answers. Let's practice some more. Underline the appropriate relative pronoun or relative adverb to complete the following sentences. For example, in number 1, in my opinion, the filmmaker who makes independent films usually receives international nominations. We use the relative pronoun who to refer back to the filmmaker. Now pause the video and answer items number 2 to 6. Now here are the correct answers. Now let's move on to our next sub-lesson, speaking. Choosing an artwork resembles one's values and aspirations. When we choose which art, we can always justify it based on our subjective reasons or objective observation. Before we jump into our speaking activity, let's first read the emails between Linda and Clark. To Linda, subject, art opinion. Hi Linda, please help me in my homework on art appreciation. I am thinking of having a wall art presentation in my class, but I have a hard time choosing which one between the photos. I am sending you the files. Your friend, Clark. To Clark, subject, my opinion. Hi Clark, the details of the photos are attached, but why on earth are you choosing these photos? Kidding aside, since you asked me to choose which is better for your presentation, I'd like to choose the first. Your friend, Linda. You may look at the wall arts presented previously again. Then choose a wall art and justify your choice. Remember to highlight the following key points during the paired speaking activity. 1. Type of painting. 2. Material used and its effect. 3. Description and its emotive effect. And 4. Price, accessibility and shipment, and other details that affect your choice. Refer to the example on your screen. Pause the video and work on this activity. Pronouns are replacements of nouns to avoid repetition. The noun that the pronoun replaces is called an antecedent. The relative pronouns or relative adverbs must agree with their antecedents. Now for our activity, complete the video script by matching the statements starting with relative pronouns and their antecedents. Write the letter of the clause in the appropriate gap. For example, in number 1 or the first blank. Good morning. Welcome to my channel, and in today's video, we will be reacting on an artwork being requested by a dear friend, Clark, who has been a comrade since kindergarten. Now pause the video and answer the rest of the items. Here are the correct answers. This time, make your own script of a vlog where you feature an artwork or an artist in your community. Use the rubric for your guidance. After working on your script, use your preferred AI tool to improve it. Edit as needed. Pause the video and start working on this activity. Now for our pronunciation practice. If the vowel sound of the word sounds like but, write the wedge symbol or the inverted V. If the vowel sound of the word sounds like and again, write the unaccented schwa symbol or the inverted E. And if the sound or the vowel sound of the word sounds like bird, write the schwa plus R symbol. For example, in number 1, the word purchase. In the first syllable, it has the vowel sound purchase. It has the schwa plus R symbol. Now pause the video and answer items number 2 to 11. Now here are the correct answers. Diphthongs are 2 vowel sounds blended as one. For our activity, classify words by ticking the correct column to show whether they contain diphthongs such as I, ow, or oi. The first item is done for you. Here we have the word oil. Now pause the video and answer the rest of the items. Here are the correct answers. And with that, we have covered our third can-do objective, which is to express opinions to justify one's choice. In this lesson, we read about different stands on buying art. We checked your vocabulary on art-related terms. We also talked about relative pronouns and relative adverbs. You chose a wall art and justified your choice. You also wrote your own script for a vlog. And we practiced your pronunciation on mid-central vowels and diphthongs. As we bid farewell to Unit 9C, I'm grateful for our shared learning experience. Your engagement has made this journey truly rewarding. Let's carry this momentum forward into our next lesson. Until then, stay curious and keep exploring.